Head of the show.
We are live here at Midas Letter RAW. And not only is Ed a pretty smart guy, he's also my very good friend. Special Ed Milewski is here with us today to take apart, dissect the charts. He's gonna give you the technical mumbo jumbo that I don't understand.
Holding the applause with my right hand, and I'm actually eliciting more applause with my left hand.
Isn't that what they mean by passive aggressive?
Yeah.
Passive aggressive.
Black and white. I'm confused. I'm not sure what I want. Okay.
You are confused.
Confused. What does confused end with?
At this late date in life, Ed, you don't know what you want. You know, my father said to me once, he says, you know, you might not be able to get what you want, but he says the worst thing you can do is get to a point in your adult life and not know what you want. So he says before you can get what you want,
you have to know what you want.
You have to know what you want, and then you go get it.
I heard someone else say a similar thing, and they said, if you don't know where you're going, where do you think you're going to end up? In other words, if you don't know where you're going, where do you think you're going to end up? But that's not in other words. That's the same words. I just said the same thing twice. So, like, let's say you're randomly trying to get somewhere, but you don't know where you want to go. Okay. Where the hell do you think you're going to end up?
Randomly trying to get somewhere.
Like, if you want to go,
know where you're going to go.
If you didn't know you're going to go to the office in the morning, where do you could end up anywhere.
No, I'd end up at the office.
No, but if you didn't know you were going to go there.
No, I'd end up there, because if I don't know where I'm going, then I'm just going to gravitate to the office if it's a weekday. I mean, technically, I wasn't supposed to be here today because everybody wasn't expecting to see me till like tomorrow.
Right.
But because I had such a crappy time up north this weekend and came back early, here I am.
Because of that storm?
No, I'm going to tell you, Ed, it was quite funny. A little segue here. This has nothing to do with cannabis.
Okay.
Though one thing we had wished is that we had brought more cannabis than we did, because we ran out. Because we had such a crappy time up north. We rented this cabin. The cabin was like 15 feet from a cabin on either side. They somehow imported cowboys from, like, I don't know, a part of the planet where the F word is like 2/3 of every sentence.
Yeah, yeah. In other words, they knew 3 words.
They knew 3 words, and it was just mayhem. It was mayhem, and the neighbors were hostile. So it was also 42 degrees with the humidex. That's about 105
no air conditioning.
U.S. speak. No air conditioning, no fan. Ooh. Every species of biting insect known to man was having a population explosion that weekend.
Let's hope there weren't ticks.
Okay, I had ticks, I had mosquitoes, I had black flies, mayflies, deer flies. Did I mention the ticks? And so I've got bites all over me. We split after 2 days.
Can I ask you a question?
Lay it on me.
Did the ticks tick you off?
The ticks were the least of my concern, to be honest.
Okay.
It was the black flies that did me in.
Black flies are...
I'll tell you what, they're little bastards.
They're pesty.
They're little bastards.
They're pests.
They're pests. Anyways.
You know what? You know what? Some wise philosopher once said that when you anticipate something, be careful that you put too much emphasis, or you expect too much, because it may end up to be totally opposite to what you expected, and then you're sort of let down. If you expect nothing, then and you get nothing, you're not disappointed.
Well, here's the funny thing about this story. So we had booked there for 4 days. I wasn't supposed to be back till tomorrow. By the second day, we had baked and been bitten and eaten alive by so many insects that we're just like, you know what? It's Sunday morning. It's Canada Day. Let's get out of here.
That's not fun.
We drove 4.5 hours back to Toronto.
Can I ask you what they charged you for this?
140 US a night. Adding insult to injury, they charged us US dollars in Canada. Anyways, but here's the
hell do they charge you?
Here's the moral of the story. After that 2 days, frantically driving up there, finding this place, being pissed off at everything in the world, driving back home, got home, unpacked the car, opened a bottle of wine, poured myself a nice cold glass of some white wine, actually it was a Merceau, a lovely Burgundy, and sat down in the backyard in downtown Toronto. Because it was a long weekend, everybody was gone. It was cool, breezy, no bugs, no noise. It was peace and quiet.
should
It was
have
the very peace and quiet I left there to achieve by going north.
In other words, I once, you didn't know my dad, but he was a Polish immigrant, and I asked him once, Dad, in the winter, why don't you go to Florida? And you know what he said? Why? Like, why would I go there? Because I've got everything here. And you just told me, in a sense, that you found everything you were looking for at home.
Yes.
And sometimes, you know, there's no place. Here's one for you, ladies and gentlemen. There's no place like home.
There's no place like home. Did we just spent like 6 minutes arriving at this, what is obviously
I'll tell you,
conventional wisdom.
You heard it here first.
I don't think first, but certainly you heard it here again, and maybe the first time today.
There's no place like home.
Ed,
okay.
So you know, we have this show. We have this show to talk about cannabis,
right?
And so I think
lots of news today in the cannabis area.
Did you see the news? It was an embarrassment of riches.
Look, you just look around in this paper. Look at this.
I know.
Okay.
Look at all this news.
I've got to put my glasses on, ladies and gentlemen.
The news was abundant.
No, this one I found interesting. Life insurance companies no longer treating marijuana use as high risk as tobacco. In other words, they're saying this is okay. Tobacco is worse.
Well, I think if a life insurance company, the implication there is that they're not going to charge you a higher premium if you're a marijuana user.
But they will if you're a smoker.
Well, I can understand that.
Yeah, but who's to say that there isn't the same? I don't know. What? I guess there's a lot of
tar, nicotine, and marijuana. I don't think there is. I think there's tar, but there's definitely no nicotine. Because you don't. It certainly doesn't have. It creates. I remember before all the foo-for-all got going on medical marijuana, they came up with this idea that it created a psychological dependency, which was almost as bad as an addiction, a physical addiction.
And cigarettes is more of a physical thing, I think.
Well, nicotine creates a physical addiction.
But maybe the benefit of medical marijuana outweighs the negative, so they balance it out and say, you know what? There's some good things, there's some bad things. You're going to live longer, maybe cuts off a few years here. Let's balance it out and say, no premium increase to you.
I think one of the funniest things, though, is everybody's up in arms about, we're not ready for legal marijuana because what's going to happen when people are driving? Have you ever driven under the influence of marijuana?
Who are you talking to?
I can tell you that I have multiple times, probably before I was even old enough to have a driver's license. And here was the big problem with driving high.
What if the police force is listening right now? They're going to be following you around.
I don't mind. They'll be like, well, that kid's clearly not a problem because he's driving too slow. And that was the only problem. You'd be doing like 40 kilometers an hour and everybody in the car who was high would be going, slow down, man, you're going too fast. And that was the problem. But anyways,
I think we talked about this earlier in a previous show. If marijuana doesn't make you more aggressive, it makes you less aggressive. I'd say.
Oh, it's a pacifier.
It's a pacifier, yeah, pacifier.
Yeah. If you've got a bunch of aggressive people around, get them all high, and next thing you know, they'll all be buddies.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
make love, not war, right?
Make babies, not booze.
So I think that's really interesting. I think that's because let's face it, they say if you smoke one cigarette on an insurance form, just one, you got problems, buddy. Your insurance rates are going up.
Just if you admit smoking one cigarette?
If you smoke one cigarette a year, you're a smoker. So
you should basically always lie when filling out cigarette. I mean,
but if they find out though, if they find out that you're lying, then they don't have to pay off the insurance policy.
What if I quit that day? Then they're never going to be able to prove that I was lying.
What if you? Yeah. Okay.
It's going to be like that, is it?
Yeah. Look at all this stuff here. What's going on? I don't think there's going to be any shortage of marijuana. Do you?
A shortage of marijuana?
Yeah.
And I've said it once, and I'll say it again. The last time there was a shortage of cannabis in Canada was during the Paraquat scare during the late 70s, was when the U.S. military started spray bombing Mexican grow ops south of the border with Paraquat, which didn't stop them from selling it into the black market. And so for a very brief time, I remember you'd get this weed, and it would just be like have this god-awful flavor. You'd be barking like a dog, and it was like, so nobody wanted that weed.
Barking at the moon.
barking like a lunatic. And
did you know the word lunatic and lunar? Did you know that? Did you just say that on purpose? You did you?
No. Did I just set you up?
So lunatic and lunar are derived like a lunatic
is a lunar.
And a lunar he's barking at the moon. A lunatic. Lunar.
Does that imply that
lunatic?
So does that mean people are crazier at night?
There's something I wanted to add to it, but I can't think of it right now.
Have you been smoking cannabis?
No, but I may be tonight.
Really?
Thinking about it.
You got something to try out? Mm-hmm. Going to share with the brothers here? Mm-hmm. No?
Well, maybe. We'll take a break right now and come back, and let's see if the audience can tell if we did or didn't.
Okay, we're going to step outside, are we?
I don't know.
That would be fun. So we're going to have one guest today.
Okay.
One guest.
Who?
His name is Shawn Moniz. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right.
Moniz?
M-O-N-I-Z. He's the CEO of Cannvas MedTech, trading on the CSE under the symbol MTEC.
Can I just have a look at the chart before we go any further?
Well, I'm not sure that you can because they just went public today.
Okay,
so
no point.
We're going to pull up.
That's not going to do anything. Well, it'll give me something. If it's trading at a premium, that'll tell us maybe they valued it. I don't want to say too much here.
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to pull up the Cannabis Index and Medical Marijuana Research Facility page of Midas Letter. We're going to pull up the search box here, and we're going to put in symbol MTEC. Oh, they're already listed in our system. Thanks to Quote Media for that. Quote Media is where it's at, and here's their first day trading.
Okay.
Wait a sec. Yes, this is.
High, low, close. So here we are, right at the high of the day.
Yeah.
We're at the high of the day, 40 cents.
That's a good open.
Do the readers know how to read a candlestick properly? Do they?
I don't know. Let me ask them. Readers, do you know what's going on here? I have no idea.
Do you know? You want me to tell you?
Okay.
Okay, so
I think that might be helpful.
So the candle chart, looks like that's an upside down candle. It's got the wick here, but now it's a tail, right?
Okay.
There's the body of the candle. But look at, so you've got 4 points here. Well, there's actually 3. You got that's because it's green, it's up.
Okay.
From where it opened.
Boy, that's
okay. So there you go.
Right there.
And then that's the low of the day. That's the high of the day. This is where it opened. And that's where it is now. So there you go.
So that's a pretty good day. 836,000.
Yeah. Now look at low of 25, high of 40, less than 40. That's a nice start. I wonder what the
Ed, we're going to find out. I'm going to read some news.
But look at this. Here we got a market cap here of 15. If that's accurate,
okay,
that's a nice. That's not a lot of market cap. A lot of potential upside.
All right.
Sounds like it's been priced right for the new investor.
I think you're right.
Just saying.
We're going to come back and talk about that, Ed. I'm going to read some news now.
Sure.
Just because we have to maintain the appearance of a serious organization, and so for that, I'm just going to read the news.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about that.
All right. Should I do it while you're doing this?
Well, if you don't mind, please bugger off.
Okay. I'll leave.
Take your chair with you.
If I had a little engine, I'd just drive it over there.
Exactly. If I had a button, I'd just go.
Eject me. Okay. Eject me. Okay, I'll see you later.
I'll see you in a bit.
Okay. I'm going to go.
Hey, how about some news? How about that news? Big news day. Big news day in the cannabis space. We'll start with Hydropothecary Corporation. You might remember that it recently changed its symbol to HEXO from THCX. Still like the old symbol better, personally. That trades on the TSX under the symbol HEXO now, and they just announced that 6 of the 10 zones in its 250,000 square foot greenhouse expansion are now licensed by Health Canada. While the 250,000 square foot expansion continues to receive licensing, HEXO has turned its efforts to an additional 1 million square feet of expansion set to be complete by year end. You might want to go and check out our YouTube channel, and you can see a video of us shooting that phase under construction. In other big news today, Aurora Cannabis Inc., and I mean big, currently the second largest cannabis grower by market cap, today announced the receipt of their sales license in Quebec and the completion of their first harvest at Aurora Sky and the receipt of a license for CannaMed capsules. Aurora received its sales license for the V facility in Pointe Claire, Quebec, and has been granted its Health Canada sales license, and so is now in full commercial operation. The facility is expected to produce 4,000 kilograms per year of high-quality cannabis by October 2018. Aurora Sky's first harvest was completed on June 28th, that was last week, and a second harvest is planned within the next 2 weeks. Upon completion of the second harvest, Aurora will request a Health Canada inspection towards receiving a sales license for that facility. Now, with the total footprint exceeding 800,000 square feet, Aurora Sky is expected to produce more than 100,000 kilograms per year of cannabis. And finally, Aurora was granted licenses for capsule production, which it says is the new high-margin segment of the medical and consumer market. The company's wholly owned subsidiary CannaMed has received Health Canada approval to commence sales of CannaMed capsules, a line of vegan capsules. The capsules as a delivery mechanism are highly valued for their precision dosing. And Liberty Health Sciences Inc., trading on the Canadian Securities Exchange under symbol LHS, announced a partnership with Veterans Cannabis Project, an association dedicated to improving U.S. military veterans' quality of life through the opportunity provided by cannabis. The partnership will support vital research projects focused on the treatment of service-related trauma with cannabis-derived products. Liberty will offer a 25% discount on all purchases for armed forces personnel. Liberty, you might recall, is loosely affiliated with Aphria Inc., Canada's third largest ACMPR licensee by market cap. Delta 9 Cannabis, TSX Venture listed, symbol NINE, announced the planned location for its first cannabis retail stores. Cannabis retail stores. I don't think they're going to be selling cannibals. Delta 9 intends to open 2 stores in Winnipeg, 1 in Brandon and 1 in Thompson before the end of the year. At least one of the Winnipeg stores is expected to be open on October 17, 2018, which is the date that has been announced as the first day for legal retail sales of cannabis by the federal government. The company's online sales portal will also be operating as of that date. The Supreme Cannabis Company, one of our favorite guests, TSX Venture listed, FIRE is the symbol, announced that the company's wholly owned subsidiary, 7 Acres, has entered into a supply agreement with the Manitoba Liquor and Lotteries Corporation to supply recreational cannabis to Manitoba's private cannabis retailers. Under the terms of the agreement, 7 Acres will supply MBLL with 1,690 kilograms of cannabis over a 12-month period. Manitoba becomes Supreme Cannabis's first provincial recreational partner. Namaste Technologies Inc., TSX Venture listed, symbol N, announced the company has signed an exclusive software services agreement with Indigenous Canadian Medical Dispensaries Inc., whereby Namaste will provide all Indigenous communities across Canada, representing a population of over 1.5 million people, with free access to the company's telemedicine application online patient portal, Namaste MD. The company anticipates that this agreement will drive further patient growth in Namaste, achieving its target of acquiring over 50,000 medical cannabis patients by the end of 2018 and 200,000 by the end of 2019. Canada Royalty Corp, CSE, CRZ is a symbol, announced that it has closed the acquisition of Floracal Farms, a licensed premium craft cannabis producer located in Sonoma County, California. Floracal generated $6.4 million US in revenue and $3.2 million in EBITDA in fiscal 2017. Current production capacity of 1,000 kilograms of craft cannabis annually will expand to 3,700 kilograms in its Phase 2 expansion and 5,500 kilograms as part of its Phase 3. Puff Ventures, CSE listed, PUF is the symbol, brings large-scale propagation to the Canadian cannabis industry. Its existing 2.2 million square foot facility will be used to propagate flower ready for the medical and recreational cannabis growers of Canada. The company announced the formation of Propagation Services Canada through a partnership with Casey Howling. By outsourcing propagation services, licensed producers of cannabis can significantly increase revenue while reducing the risk associated with cloning. And FSD Pharma, with CSC listed symbol HUGE, announced a $55 million partnership for indoor cannabis growth at its Coburg facility with Auxly. The first phase of the build-out of FB Pharma facility has been approved in an updated construction and development budget provided by Auxly. Of the current 620,000 square feet of building space available, 220,000 square feet will be developed and fully funded. As part of the project, Auxly will contribute $55 million to build out the facility. That is the news of the day in the cannabis space. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. My guest this segment is Shawn Moniz. He's the CEO of Cannvas MedTech Inc, which went public today on the CSE under the symbol MTEC. Shawn, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Shawn, haven't had any exposure to your company, and so I don't even know what it does. I'm assuming it's got to be cannabis related because that's what we do here. But tell me about Cannvas MedTech. What is it you do?
Sure. So Cannvas MedTech is a business technology company, and right now we're focusing on the cannabis space. What we did is we looked at what is happening in the space and where can we actually create a solution that doesn't overlap a lot of the players that are in the segment. And what we found is there's a lot of growers and there's a lot of users. But in between, there was something that was missing. You know, and even from a personal story with my father, who suffers from rheumatoid arthritis, he was looking for alternative pain treatments. When we went online, a few sites had information about cannabis, but nothing really that pointed us in a curated fashion to learn about the space. Is this something that he should be going on? What are the pros? What are the cons? So that education piece really was the gap. And so Cannvas MedTech is designing and soon to be launched this summer its inaugural platform of Canvas.me, which is a consumer-centric health sciences platform focused on the education of cannabis use. So whether or not you go on cannabis, it doesn't matter to us. We win so long as you learn.
Okay.
So you're coming to the site, you know nothing about it, you're learning about the differences between hemp oil versus cannabis oil, THC, CBD, and a myriad of other different articles and solutions to see, is this right for you?
Okay.
Right? And that's why we actually tagged our slogan as healthcare through cannabis. So it's really on the education of, is this right for me? And then you're now informed to go have that conversation with your physician and carry on.
Okay, so you're primarily a cannabis media company.
Not so media.
Okay.
We're more, so Lyft does a great job on that. They're a media company. Leafy does a good job with the content of the end users. We're in that middle space. So we're not coming to the market and saying it's us versus Lyft or us versus Leafly. We're actually right in the middle, right?
Okay.
Right in that spot where it's the education focus. And then if you want to see the community of what people are using and the media about it, you can then go to Lyft. If you want to read about what people are reviewing and saying, you can go more to Leafly. We have those components, but our main focus is on the education piece. That is the biggest gap that no one really seems to have, and so that's where we've plugged in.
So you're a cannabis educator.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Good to know. How do you make money?
So right now, with user engagement on the site, we're trying to partner up with Health Canada, with the academic circles, so research facilities, universities for their content. We're collecting a lot of different data, just like any other website, of what people want, what they don't want, what they like, what they don't like. And it's very contextualized, meaning if someone is in Vancouver, Toronto, Sydney, Germany, or South America, the site changes.
Okay.
It shows different articles, blogs, even academy content of learning that suits that geographical area. If it's legal, we also show some of the support groups, physicians and clinics that are around you, and talk about the legal ways to proceed with that conversation with your physician to get onto cannabis as a healthcare treatment.
Okay, so that's great. Then would you say that the person that you're targeting is somebody who is not formally a cannabis user, or a well-experienced cannabis user, or somewhere in between?
That's a very good question. So we designed the platform for 7 different audiences. Whether you're a nurse practitioner, an HCP, a caregiver, a patient, a adult use, even insurance companies, anybody that would want to be part of the space has a place on Canvas.me. So our target audience is more of the 30 plus, people that are looking into serious treatments within the cannabis space, But whether you've used it or you've just been confronted with the stigma for the past 50 years, we will help you learn about the different uses of cannabis. So there's a wide variety of different audiences that can benefit from the platform, a wide variety of different verticals, and then, as you mentioned, collecting all that data and serving it back to the community to enrich them on different education pieces. Just imagine if we were to team up with some of the hospitals in Northern Ontario. And I'll use an example where you have a male, 18 to 25, he's doing construction work and he's looking for pain treatments for lower back pain. And if he's going on the site and he's learning about the different strains that help with that ailment, but then let's fast forward when different methods of ingestion are legal and he wants a CBD patch.
Okay.
That information going back to the government will then inform healthcare practitioners in and around that area, educational facilities, nurse practitioners on the type of geographical elements that are in that area for people that want to learn about cannabis. So when I talk about the site being very contextualized, it's those data points that we're collecting, analyzing, serving back to the end user so that they can have a real meaningful interaction with our platform, but also that information aggregated on a whole can start informing the industry on what it needs to do, what content needs to be curated, and what type of action the government may need to take in certain geographical areas.
Interesting. So the content is curated, but it sounds like it's algorithmically curated, not necessarily curated by a live person, based on where the user logs on from geographically.
It's both. So we take a very data-centric approach with CRM, meaning what people view, don't view, click on, don't click on, and whether they start at Module 1 and they progress to Module 5, and whether they're in Toronto or Australia, that content is curated. Not only for the persona that you link up with, so if you're a male, female, over 30, under 30, the different types of uses and types of ailments that you want to get relief from feeds into that persona. And that's the algorithms that kick in. Your location, your demographics, your firmographics, everything, and about 1,000 other data points that we collect to make the engagement more meaningful, but also to derive some insights that we could serve back to the cannabis community.
Interesting. So how do you accumulate all this information? Do you produce the sort of curriculum material, or do you license it from somebody, or do you have a relationship with educators elsewhere who provide the material to the platform?
So what we did is we created a health innovation board, and with that, a couple physicians signed on with us to help curate the content to make sure that it is unbiased and is a trustworthy source. We also had industry experts, SMEs. We do have partnerships with different academic circles to provide the content for medical and scientific research. So it's a whole bunch of people within that academic circle that could be, arm's length from any one entity that may want to skew the data or skew the content in one way or another. So we have to stay in that middle ground for fair balance and make sure that we are 100% non-biased.
Yeah, for sure. So would companies with products that want to access the market, would you have a platform for them to engage with your audience with an eye towards, maybe their products are kind of like something appropriate? And is that something that you would sort of seek to create a partnership around?
We're always open to different partnerships. And on the product side, we have to be very careful to make sure that we're not showing a product or offering a product or mentioning any type of product before we quantify that this person is quote-unquote ready. Meaning they've gone through enough content, they've raised their hand and asked for additional information regarding certain products or different methods of ingestion. Until they take that action and say, I'd like to be contacted more, we're not going to be putting different products or different type of partnership media placements within the site. It has to be on an opt-in basis as they curate their own journey.
Sure. Okay, well that's excellent, Shawn. We're going to leave it there for now. We'll come back to you in a quarter's time and see how you're progressing. Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
We're going to talk to Brent Skoda next, who's with a company called Interactive Organics. Welcome back to Midas Letter Live, everybody. Today I have a special guest. This is a private company, an early stage opportunity in the cannabis sector, but I was so impressed that I invited my next guest, Mr. Brent Skoda, to join me. He is the founder and CEO of Interactive Organics Corp. Brent, thanks for joining me today.
Hey, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
What does Interactive Organics do?
So we got in the vaporizer game, let's see, 8-9 years ago, and used to live and work in China, and used to manufacture LED products.
No kidding.
A number of years ago.
In China?
In China.
Wow.
So Shenzhen, so
Wow.
southern China.
Really?
Yeah.
How long did you live there for?
About a year.
Really?
About a year.
Wow.
Yeah, constant. So it was a great experience.
Yeah, no doubt.
Learned all about doing business in China.
Speak Chinese?
Just a little bit.
Right, okay. We won't test you out on that because I speak zero.
Yeah, still learning.
Yeah, right.
So so 8-9 years ago when I was manufacturing LED products, I had an opportunity to go see what was the largest manufacturer of vaporizers 8-9 years ago. And so we're talking pre electronic cigarette era, so no one really knew where the technology was going.
Right.
But when I went in the factory that day, it was incredible. And I was looking at the demand at the production level, and I was blown away.
Really?
So the more you do business in China, what you'll quickly learn is they rarely do business on speculation. So if if you're looking, if you're at a factory and they're awfully busy, that means somebody placed that order, and they're paying for it.
So they're kind of not the people to build inventory.
Right. No. Okay. No. So
interesting.
Right. So
get it in, get it out.
Right. So I looked at that and I said, you know what? There's definitely an opportunity here, and my background's kind of health and fitness, that sort of thing. So I understood what was so disruptive about the electronic cigarette compared to the traditional combustible cigarette that everyone
reefer.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, I looked at it and said, you know what? Rather than vaporizing nicotine, why don't we vaporize natural health products? So that's what got me started. And then back then there was a product called 5 Hour Energy that was awfully popular.
Billion-dollar company.
Yes. And so I looked at it and said, you know what? I think we may have a better mousetrap. And is it possible to vaporize caffeine? And then ingredients that you would normally find in.
So when you say vaporize, you don't mean burn.
I don't mean burn. So big difference.
Right.
So we actually had to get into the mechanics of how these devices work, because oftentimes most vaporizers honestly aren't vaporizing the product. They're actually, so there's a coil suspended in the liquid, and what it's doing is it's actually burning the liquid. So technically, they're still combusting the material. So we had to develop a ceramic chamber that we've actually worked to patent, and what it does is it actually heats the material inside of the device to actually a medical grade. So it's very, very different than and when you taste it, when you taste it and when you use it compared to probably the average pen you'd pick up at a dispensary or what have you, you'll notice immediately.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't bring one with you, did you?
I
Crossing borders, I know, kind of tough.
We tend to be careful, but next time, I assure you, I'll have one here
well,
for you.
It's legal now, apparently, so at least this side of the border. So then that's interesting. So essentially the idea in delivering a premium experience to a cannabis user who doesn't want to have smoke in their lungs is to heat it very carefully to a maximum temperature with consistency that you actually decarboxylate the
Wow.
not a pretty face, eh? And even as I'm saying it, I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but to decarb the resin and to release the THCs into your system.
Yes. Right. So I mean, it's a lot like if you were a kid, maybe you had like the Vicks vapor products or anything like that. You're truly actually heating the material. You're almost like boiling the material.
Okay.
So you're not burning it. It's a big difference. So that's how we got started. And then, fast forward to today, so we actually have a granted patent for vaporizing inhalable compositions that contain caffeine, which is a big deal. We have a patent on the actual shape of the device. It was actually a lot harder than you might think to change that traditional pen look.
Yeah.
And then, create something cool, compact, carry with you, so on and so forth. So when you see the device, you'll notice it looks a little bit different. But as we got into manufacturing these products, and there's been a lot of excitement even around our initial caffeine product, which we're expanding. We're doing energy, sleep, weight loss, focus, so kind of like the vitamin water or vapor, more or less, if you could picture that.
So it's not just for cannabis anymore.
So it's not, but believe it or not,
cannabis is the big market.
Well, that is, and that's what got us into it. So, you know, 8 years ago, we're manufacturing vaporizers. We're getting really good at it. And then, you know, funny thing is, if you could picture this, so I'm literally sitting at the factory in southern China, and we got a bunch of engineers. You know, my whole staff's there, and we're picking out the components. We have battery, we have an LED, we have molds, you know, so on and so forth. I'm sitting there, I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, all right, so we have a battery source. So my background is computer programming. So I'm looking at the components that are on the table, and I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, so we have a battery source, you know, we have an LED, we have a pressure sensor. So, you know, and I'm sitting here thinking, well, I wonder if I could connect it to the internet. So go back 8 years, if you could remember that, right? Seems like a lifetime ago.
Last night, never mind 8 years ago. But okay, I'll try.
I mean, yeah, me too. So you go back 8 years, and you know, so I'm sitting there. We're looking at all the components, and I look at the engineers, and I say to them, I said, you know, would it be possible to incorporate Bluetooth or Wi-Fi into the device? And I said, you know, I know the chips are large, you know, but you know, can we do it? Everyone's like, of course. Well, why couldn't we? So that was the light bulb moment. So once you connect these vaporizers to the internet, you can do anything you want with them. Control them, monitor them, regulate them, automate refills, you know, all kinds of.
Can you actually download a refill over the internet?
You can.
What?
You can.
Come on.
Hold on. So you know, so that was the light bulb moment, and then so we went on and we created this really cool. You know, we have several generations. So picture like iPod to iPhone 10.
Yeah.
So we created this whole generation of really cool advanced vaporizers. This isn't a product coming out of China. You know, this is a product coming out of, you know, North
Dallas,
America.
Texas.
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas, where they like things big, apparently.
Right.
Cool. Okay, so where are you at in the development of this thing now?
All right, so the first versions, those are, you know, the energy, sleep, weight loss, those are done. Those are ready to go, so we can manufacture right now 1.6 million units every 45 days.
And are you selling them in stores?
Right now, so we're in about 185 dispensaries.
Oh, okay, so you're making money. This isn't a startup.
No. So we're rolling. So
how much money have you put into this thing?
I put in just over 4.4 million US.
Wow!
Yeah.
Congratulations, good for you. Boy.
Yeah. So we believe in it.
Yeah, obviously. Okay, so you've got a presentation with you. Why don't you run us through a few of the slides?
It'll help a lot because honestly, the visual aspect of it, it'll you know.
Normally, we don't allow a PowerPoint to be brought into this thing, but yours doesn't look like a PowerPoint.
Understood.
The images are really cool. So run us through it.
Alrighty. So here we go. All right, so this was when we talk about changing the actual shape of the device, it was actually difficult. So if you could picture chapstick or lipstick, it's about the same size as one of those dispensers.
All right.
So it's not huge. You can carry it with you. We have a granted patent in the U.S. We have a granted patent in Europe. Works phenomenal. When you use it, you know, the LED at the end lights up. This has 100 uses inside of it. You throw it out.
Okay.
But as we were making this product, we got really good at making vaporizers.
Okay.
And so, I mean, this is a point of sale. This particular application is something that would compete with a 5-hour energy that's out there.
Right.
So this would be, you know, next to your point of sale, as you're checking out, gas station, convenience store, you know, so on and so forth.
And I can even get it in the color coordinated outfit that I'm wearing.
You can. So now this is when we kind of got cool. All right. So when we got into the whole like THC, CBD world, as it became more popular, became legal, we were already manufacturing vaporizers. So we're way ahead of the game.
Yeah.
All right. So what we did is like, all right, well, what can we do that's cool? So when you use this device, what happens is the entire unit lights up. It's transparent. So it's like kind of like Steve Jobs, one of his original computers. You know, you could see through the hard drive.
Right.
It was awesome.
Right.
So we took a note from Steve there.
So people are going to want to be seen using these things.
The funny thing is too, like and this is something that, you know, once you use it, you'll understand. But so when you change the shape of the device and you go to a nightclub, you go out, you hang out with friends. When it looks different, guess what happens? Your friends ask you what it is.
Right.
Right. So it's a really
what
cool
is that?
yeah.
What is that thing? Find out what that is. Get me one.
Right. It's a really cool phenomenon. That happens.
That's fantastic.
So then, you know, as we're making these, we decided, all right, now we're starting to understand how this game works. All right, we get it, we understand what we're doing, and then, you know, my background again is computer science, so I'm like, you know, wouldn't it be cool? So like, we never actually manufactured this as a prototype.
Right.
We're like, all right, what would happen if we connected it to the internet, right?
Okay.
And so we created a little smart adapter. and started to think about, how cool it would be if a vaporizer was connected to the internet. And so full digital control over the vaporizer, and then you can automate refills, you can control dosage, and then, if you're an avid, internet user, what have you, you enjoy music. We saw this vision to create a product that was a lot like Spotify. Okay, so picture if you load up Spotify and you see top 50 charts, trending artists. Like, wow, that's really cool. It's an interesting way to discover new music, share music, enjoy a social experience with your friends. So we started heading in that direction. We're like, well, how does that apply to cannabis?
Right.
And how does that work? So, we started to really think about that. So we're integrating reviews, so on and so forth. And then what we've come up with is the world's first smart dispenser platform. Okay? So there isn't a single player in the game that can touch this.
Wow.
Not one.
Now this is what got me excited too.
Right.
So what are we looking at here?
All right, so this is the world's first smart dispenser platform.
Right.
All right, and it's about a fourth of the size of an iPhone 10.
Okay.
If you could picture that, or
Yeah.
even a Samsung Galaxy.
Sure.
For our Android friends.
So it's small.
Yeah, it's relatively small, and so it has a touchscreen on it. There's apps on board. Initially, it's our apps preloaded. So again, we've got to travel back in time to really put this in perspective. But so
Can you order food on it?
Well, technically, yes.
You're going to get the munchies. I love it.
So if you could fast forward back in time when you first got your smartphone,
right?
You had your basic apps that were loaded on board, and then of course you go to the App Store, and then there's increasingly more apps you could download and enjoy. So loaded on the device, we have like the basic apps that you would need to get started, and then of course there's an App Store as well that you can enjoy. So the first couple apps loaded on the device. First one's Refill. So what it does is it pairs you with the dispensary or the distributor that you buy your product from.
James is running out of weed. Get here fast.
Right, and no, it's kind of a big deal. So
Right.
you're not getting pressured as a customer to buy more product than you need. Okay,
But you're never going to run
but
out.
you never run out.
Beautiful.
right.
Wow, I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but it sounds pretty good.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the first app. Second app is Doctor. So
Right.
for like our medical application. So you can literally,
Your doctor can say, "Hey, you're smoking too much of that.
Yeah, no, exactly. No,
Turn down the dosage."
Right, and what we're finding is like there's
Interesting.
very serious medical applications. So like epilepsy is a major issue. And they're using cannabis and CBD to help solve that problem. So picture, a situation where a mother maybe is with her daughter or what have you, and her daughter's having, is beginning to have some issues, some medical challenges. Well, they can immediately get the doctor online, and rather than having to go back in the doctor's office and request, a different dosage or what have you, they can do it immediately.
Wow, so he communicate with the doctor, receive an update on the dosage.
Digitally update your prescription.
And the machine adjusts the configuration on the spot.
Yes.
See, that is just so out there. It's just amazing.
It's not out there. And what's hard to
Well, I mean, it's out there because, like, in the terms of there's nothing like it out there.
Oh, right, of course. The hard thing. So, and my big thing here is once you put a screen on these devices and connecting to the internet, the scale in terms of what you can do, it's next to none.
You can get high and play video games, order food,
If
and
you
get
want,
refilled all in
if you
one.
want to, you sure can.
Basically, give a guy one of these, he's never going to leave his room.
Right.
He's never going out of the house again.
Right. So then the coolest thing that we've come up with, so the third app on here, and then we're leaving it up to developers' imagination. So we have an SDK, they can get on top of it, they can create all kinds of cool apps, they can integrate it with music, media experience, whatever. So there's 4 chambers on this device. Now, what I want to really stress is the fact that this is a smart dispenser. All right? Vaporizers are cool right now.
Yeah.
They're going to be cool for a long time.
Yeah.
But what folks are going to realize is that, it may not be the best thing to vaporize, the THC or cannabis or what have you. It may be better to spray it. It may be better to release a liquid or a soft gel or whatever. This can do all of that. So the attachment that you're looking at that's on here, it's an accessory.
Okay.
So, depending on, sort of what you're trying to do, but what this device can do is because it has multiple chambers, it can create digital flavors and digital products, which is so cool.
So it's like a 3D printer for
It is.
ingestible compounds.
It is. You're
That's
exactly right. You're
really
exactly
cool.
right. So
What's in those 4 chambers that we're seeing there right now?
All right, so inside of those 4 chambers, as the cannabis experts know, when you extract the oil or the concentrates, oftentimes you kill off the terpenes, which is sort of the natural flavors.
Right.
So, and then what happens is they'll reintroduce the terpenes in the manufacturing process to get some flavor back.
There's
in
a
the
lot
product.
of crappy tasting vapes out there. I can tell you that.
Yes. Yeah. So what you can do here is you can isolate different materials inside of different chambers, and then during consumption you can automate when those chambers are fired. So, for example, in chamber 1 we can isolate pure THC distillate. All right, it's really not going to taste like much, but it'll get you high.
Yeah.
All right. Chamber 2, we could isolate organic raspberry terpenes.
And you've got a great flavor.
Right. Chamber 3, you can isolate CBD.
I'm going to relax now.
Right. And then chamber 4, you could isolate nicotine. You could isolate,
THC.
lemon, THC,
Zowie!
whatever it may be. So picture this. So the chambers on here can be controlled around any pattern around time and temperature.
Huh.
All right. So if you could picture this, all right, let's say millisecond 1 through 3 as you're consuming the product, you're firing the distillate. All right. Millisecond 3 through 6, you leave on chamber 1, but you turn on chamber 2. All right. So that's your organic raspberry terpenes. Ooh.
Wow.
Right. And then chamber 3, right, you turn on the CBD. So millisecond 9 through 12.
So this is one of the biggest problems with the concentrates is that they separate out the CBDs and the THCs and the terpenes. You lose the entourage effect, and you end up with this goofy high that you're like,
Yes.
oh, I'm high, but I don't feel that great. So this is amazing. When is this? I mean, Canada just became the first G7 country in the world with a federal recreational policy.
Look, I love I like the United States, but I love Canada.
You may shake my hand on that. But is this something that you can deploy now? If Canada makes this kind of a thing legal, and I couldn't see why they wouldn't, because one of the primary concerns of all of the skeptics is titration, and this clearly addresses that in a most precise and digital fashion.
It does. And on top of that, what we did when we were developing the product, we actually said, if I was a regulator, what would I want to know about what's going on in the industry?
Right.
So you take a regular vape pen or product you buy at a dispensary, what have you, anywhere in Canada. No one actually really knows what happens to that product once it leaves. It gets consumed at some point.
Right.
But how quickly, what's happening, where, that sort of thing. So everyone in the industry is talking about seed to sale data, and the government's worried about that. They want to know what's going on, so on and so forth. So what we actually are able to do is we're the only player in the game that has after sale data. After sale data.
Wow, consumption data.
Yes, where, how often, by who, so on and so forth.
Wow.
So we've got all that
Can you put
information.
Tinder on there? Or Grindr?
You could put
Tinder,
you could put either one and have at it.
Okay, this is getting out of control. All right, so this company is private right now, correct?
We're private right now. We're going public. So we're going public on the Canadian Stock Exchange.
Oh, very cool.
We're very excited about it.
Awesome.
We're ready to rock and roll.
Well, Brent, this is incredible. This product is one of the few things I've seen in the space that actually excites me. I mean, physically, I'm excited. And I can't wait. And thank you so much for coming in and sharing the story with us today.
Hey, really appreciate it. Thank you for the time. Thank you.
Ed, you're on. No, you. Ed, you're on. You're on.
I am? I'm on what?
I don't know what you're on.
What am I on?
Are you on?
What am I on?
What are you on?
Apparently nothing.
Apparently you're on the show.
I'm on the show.
Ed, a lot of people have expressed admiration and appreciation
Zowie.
for your technical analysis, Zowie. And so, without further ado,
Yeah, we're going to talk about some.
we're going to bring up the old indexes here, and we're going to poke fun at some of the action that we see.
Now, just tell me, is it indexes or indices? I always get that
Both
mixed
are
up.
correct.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Both are correct, but a scientific mind would say indices,
Right.
whereas a conversationalist
So,
would gravitate towards
Indices.
indexes.
Does that mean it's in the ocean? Indices?
Indices?
Okay.
All right, Ed.
All right, let's take a look.
Here's
Let's take a look.
Today's large cap
Come on, not down again.
Midas Letter Cannabis Index, featuring all the companies above $500 million in market cap.
Right.
This is not fully diluted market cap. This is issued and outstanding market cap, because
Right.
that is actually your market cap.
Yeah.
You don't count market cap.
No, because if the money's not in.
Exactly, it doesn't exist.
Sure, but if they're in the money, you might want to count them.
If they're in the money?
Yeah.
No, I think unless they've been exercised, because the company doesn't have the money. So if you're talking the capitalization of the company relative
All
to
right.
the shares
All right.
per dollar unit of value. Anyways, that's my 2 cents. What Ed might have disagreed.
Does that mean the point is moot?
I think that means that the point is moot, yeah? The
Okay.
Okay, so
Not
look
mute.
at this. Look
Not
at this
mute.
little
Okay.
flaccid little
Okay, so look at-
pecorino here. Like, what the hell is going on here?
What
It's,
did
like,
you-
it's not up, it's not down, it
Where
doesn't
did
look
you
like...
where did you go for lunch?
It's just, what does that
Okay,
mean?
so look.
Let's close in on
Can I
3
just?
months?
I want to say something here.
right.
Let's look at this trend again.
All right.
So we've got this trend. We've got this
The old trend,
nice trend.
usually your friend.
The trend is your friend, and then a breach of the trend.
Until the trend bends.
A breach of the trend, and we had a rally back. But if this thing doesn't get going here soon and rolls over, I'm going to sound the alarm here, viewers. You want this trend. You want this thing heading north here as fast as possible. You want, because that's a little bounce, right? A little bounce. Anyway, so that's not happened yet. So
what are you saying?
well,
Ed?
I'm seeing not a lot of bounce here.
Looks like it could fall off a cliff right there.
Well, let's look at some of the specific names today.
All right.
And let's see if
You want?
let's see here. What's the index?
Okay,
The index
let's go to
is
the index page and survey
there we
sets.
go. Yeah, down.
Okay, so
Weed's
this is
down.
ordered right now by market cap size.
Yeah.
Weed is down. Nothing.
Nothing.
Weed's basically flat.
But it opened strong. If you look at weed and what it opened at,
Okay, let's pull up the weed page. Let's look at 1 day. Oops, now it wants to tell me what 1 day. Okay, so good. Actually, it opened with a big dump, like right there, the
Yeah.
first bar.
yeah.
39.60. Somebody dumped 415,000.
Yeah, but that was up on the day when that happened.
No, then it what?
No,
then it was from that
back in
point it
here.
went up.
The open over here. Over
Here's
here.
the open point.
No, over here.
Okay. Oh, I see. Right.
9:30.
So open
9:30.
strong, and then it dumped.
You're a West Coast guy.
Yeah.
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 I don't like to see. I'd rather see open weak and then rally. Like, it opens strong overnight. Maybe people are still sleeping because Canada Day.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. It sort of moves up, and then people say, "Hey, it's up. Let's sell."
Blah blah blah.
Blah blah blah.
Is that-
So
my father
I'd like to see, open strong and then continue strong, not open strong and weaken. So we're getting back to, let's put up a 5-day chart.
5 day coming right
Yeah, here we
up.
go, 5-day. Yeah.
Whoa.
Okay, so here we had that low. Remember we called it the bounce?
Yeah.
And there it is. And now we've had a rally here. I got to tell you, I don't see a lot of good things in these charts.
No.
Not.
You see it.
Oh, and you know what? Can I just bring out something else here to the viewers?
Yeah.
Just saw just saw something here. We had a gap down here. This is on June 27th. That's a gap from the close. And then, look at this. It filled the gap. This is what a technical guy would say. The gaps always get filled. And we filled it. So this is very bad.
This is very bad.
This is very bad. Yeah, we're going to know a lot more as time goes on. It's like it's a never-ending story, if you will.
There's a song about that somewhere in
Yeah,
there.
but okay. So I would say let's put up a 1 month now. Right next to the 5-day is a 1 month. I don't know. There's that trend. I don't. We got to get going here soon. If this thing, I think we're going to see this get tested, and if this fails.
Katie bar the door?
Yeah. And I noticed too a lot of the smaller issues, and let's face it, there's a lot of smaller ones. They seem lackluster here. Just saying.
Yeah, well, I think generally there's been if we were to go back and check out the index here. Here we go. Okay, so volume today so far.
Yeah. Look at this. Look at this.
not seeing
Look at this big bulge in well, we were looking at it. We were looking at it.
13 million.
Just lift that up a bit, please. Yeah, so there's the volume here coinciding with this
Accumulation phase.
frequency daily. And then we got up to here. Now, what is this thing we're looking at right now?
That's the large cap
Okay,
composite.
okay, and this would coincide with, they set new highs briefly and then sold off.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was new highs set on the actual Royal Ascent of Bill C-45. But, you know, that's the pattern. Every time there's a value catalyst, there's a run-up in accumulation and, you know, spike in interest that upon the announcement that everybody's been waiting for, there's a sell-off because there's no immediate catalyst, no reason to keep buying the stock. You hit the news, sell
Buy
it,
on
take
mystery,
the profit.
sell on history. I know. Listen, we've been doing this long enough, James.
Age-old story.
Okay, so
Anyway, so let's look at a couple of
other
indexes. Okay, wait, first, before we leave the big cap,
Now, what's
the biggest loser of the day was Hexo. I'm going to call that heterosexual now because it's hydro.
Emerald Health keeps drifting lower as well. Where's
Emerald
Hexo?
Health.
Where's Hexo?
Hexo's at 508, down 22 cents on the day, down 4.25%. Freya shed 2.5%, down 29 cents to 11.58.
Oh, Hexo, our biggest loser. Yeah, right at the very top there.
Yeah. Organogram is down 13 cents. It's because
Biggest gainer, Kronos.
the biggest gainer was Kronos. Yep. But Kronos had lost quite a bit over the last few days. Let's take a look at their page here.
I think we can safely say that the
Price history.
the froth that occurred in December, January is not taking place. You don't see it right now.
Well,
Unless you got that new product, that frothy plant.
Aurora Frost. You know, Ed, that's the first product we're going to try on this show when it's legal.
I'll be back.
Yes. We might have to
Arnold.
we might have to cut to
I'll
a
be
commercial
back.
after that.
I'll be back.
Because it's like, ooh, yeah, boy, that's good stuff. So,
That you know what I got to say? I'm going to say it again, readers. If you're indecisive here, you got supposedly a breakout that failed immediately, and then you got a breach of that trend. What trend? Anyway, you know what?
it's like toying with a cat here.
Trying to herd some cats.
Exactly.
It's like I'm trying to herd the cats, and you're actually
I'm
you've
just
got the
playing
leash.
with them. All right, I want to look at the Canadian CSE index.
All right.
Let's see what's going on.
What do we got here?
See, we've still got Kronos here. They shouldn't be here. No, this is the what?
What?
Yeah, no, this
Is the
this is the venture. So we still got
Okay.
Kronos on the venture here, but it's actually on the senior board. We still have Hexo. So clearly today is the day that they tidy up the index, I'm assuming, Ed, and make, because it's the quarter ended June 30th. So obviously some adjustments need to be made here, which have not yet been made.
Just going to point out another thing here.
Okay.
I keep. Okay, let's. I'm a little taller than. Excuse.
Thank you.
Gesundheit.
Whoops, we got to commercial.
Now, if something were to land on the screen, would it land on here too? Just say. So look. So here you got a bottom.
Yeah.
Okay, then you reach the bottom.
Bouncing along the bottom.
And then it bounces through again, but can't really get going. And now, if we roll over and we got that line again here.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's breached.
It's got the
if
same
it starts to
placid little
if it starts
chipolata
to
there.
roll and breaches this number, then I think and the volumes are lightening up here.
Well, it's
I'm not biased here. I'm just saying this does not give me warm and fuzzy.
No?
Maybe dark and stormy.
Maybe you need a fluffer. It'll make it warm and fuzzy.
Well,
This is not that kind of show, Ed.
We got a caller here.
Yeah, okay.
We're not going to talk to you right now.
No, he's got some nerve calling in the middle of your
in my show.
starring
He's
show
probably
here.
giving me. He says probably
Now,
Okay.
among the companies that I have been watching, not least of which because I own shares,
Is
Chiron.
Chiron, yeah.
Yeah.
Chiron. Now, weren't they just? This is the company I understand that was given the sort of the blessing by the two medical bodies in Colombia. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
The two medical associations?
That is correct. I'm going to pull up there. Actually, we have KHRN.
Is this the CEO?
Yeah, this is...
I wonder right now if they're watching, if everybody in Colombia is watching the World Cup, because I think Colombia is playing England today.
Well, that would explain the sort of the sleepy performance of the stock today. It only traded 104,000 shares.
Can somebody tell us right now if who won that? That match is over. I'd like to know who won.
All right, let's go to the viewers. Viewers, who won which game did you want to know about today?
Well, Colombia.
Colombia?
Colombia and the team they're playing, which is England.
Oh, I thought Colombia was in. Oh, okay. Well,
No, nobody knows.
nobody knows. Nobody's spilling the beans, but let's give them a moment. Audience members, who won today's World Cup match? Please tell us. We don't know. We don't know, and we'd love to know.
And we're still trying to find out.
We're trying to figure
Why
out
don't
our
I
lives here.
find out and then pretend I'm a viewer?
Yeah, you could do that.
Okay.
There's Ed's Facebook page. Oh, but you better hurry. It's going to go. Oh my God! Trump weaponizes White House. Let's not even go there.
Let's
Just
let's
leave
keep
that
it simple.
alone. Yeah, let's stick with Canada, eh? All right, let's see what do we got here. Hector is probably one of our most loyal viewers. Hello, Hector. You want us to get skirts involved? Ed, you're going to have to wear a skirt next time. Hector says he wants to see a skirt on our show. You have any problem with that?
Would we be skirting the issue?
Skirting the issue. Okay, so going back to our index. Wait, here we go. Game is still on. Chris Marita says 1-1.
Game is still on.
Game is still on. Boy, it's late in the day there for that, isn't it? What are they playing at night now?
No, they're probably going into overtime or something like that, or close to it.
Yeah?
Just saying.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't know.
Yeah, it's 2 o'clock game. It's 4:20. Okay, 4:20.
Huh. 4:20. You know what that means?
So in conclusion, the technical picture remains murky. Doesn't look like we've got a cleared trend. Maybe we're basing. That's a possibility.
Okay.
But
now, is that consistent? Like, if we look at all of the indexes here, is that consistent? Like, let's look at the...
What's the one I see right there?
This is the CSE index. So the CSE index here.
Let's see it. Yeah.
It's got the same thing. It's got that flaccid little embarrassment.
And again,
here.
we had a little trend here. This little trend has been breached. Not big, but it doesn't matter. It's saying the same thing. We tried to rally and then we failed. We failed below here.
Yeah.
So that's a downward line, not as steep. But if it breaches this number here, which was back in early May, I got to tell you, I think it's gonna cause some of the viewers to maybe join the sell side, and that will overwhelm the buyers, and the buyers will go and then further selling.
Because the buyers typically, if they see a large panic, they tend to step back and say, "Well, I'm not going to catch the falling knife. I'm going to wait till I see the bounce, and then I'm going to buy on the cheap."
Wait till the knife falls on the ground and pick it up.
Yeah. Interesting.
Okay.
Some of the bigger traders on the big loser today, Afanor Growers lost a penny, which is 10% of its value.
Oh, God.
Well, there's an investment grade opposition for you.
Now, remember this one, this Ianthus. Here, go back to the previous page.
Ianthus.
That was a big winner there last week or whatever. Look it was well into the $7 range. Now here we got $6.29. So there's obviously there's buyers and sellers.
Wow, look at Ianthus has sold off quite a bit, but look at how steep that gain was. So this is just nothing but profit taken. This has nothing to do with an abdication of faith. This is profit taking, if you ask me. All these people here are up. Look, from 250 to 750 in the course of 3 months, Ed. Who would sit on that?
I'd say
that's a triple.
That's like $3. 250 is probably that line right there. Just to be a little more accurate, But you're right. Look at this. Over 750. Yeah. Over 750.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there's going to be profit taking. I mean,
Okay.
You
Okay.
can't not ever sell, although I've been thinking about that as a good business model, as long as you can keep liquid. Ed, you know what time it is?
420.
4:20. You know what we do at 4:20 every day? We talk about a new cannabis product that is as yet under the radar and that people out there probably do not know about. Now, what is today's product, Ed? You have any idea?
Surprise me.
I don't have one. No, I'm kidding. The new product is Canamed's gel caps, which is, again, an Aurora product because Canamed's now a subsidiary of Aurora.
Right.
So Aurora is launching. Actually, it's in our news. We mentioned it in the news today that Aurora had received Health Canada licensing for gel caps. And gel caps are in high demand by medical patients because they don't have to smoke or vaporize the product to achieve the effect. There you go. That's the product of the day.
They don't have to smoke or
vaporize.
And how do they do it?
They ingest it in a gel cap. So
Right.
typically, the cannabinoids have been rendered into some water-soluble form. Dose and also, sorry, the other side of it that makes it very attractive is the extreme control over dose. So, because they're sort of made in a pharmaceutical environment, precision dosing is key to a lot of people. They don't want to be one bit higher than they have to be because they're not there for that effect. They're there for what the other medicinal effects might be, at least.
Yeah.
So what do you think of that product?
Well, I don't know. I've never tried it.
Well, we're going to have to, we've got a long list of products we're going to be trying
what
here.
we need to do is we need to have like a panel
Yeah.
or a room full of users
Yep.
and pass the pot, as it were.
Pass the pot.
Pass the
Pass the Grey Poupon.
pass the pot. Now you could say there could be a variation there.
I don't know where you're going with this, Mr. Milewski.
Okay.
All right.
So look. There's a lot of innovation in this this new legal industry,
Yeah.
and
One might say it's characterized by
you know
innovation.
what? What do you think? I mean, look, I've been known to,
Innovate.
have a puff once in a while, and I've had a chance to do some of the other things too, like edibles, etc. I think guys, there's something about smoking
Spliff? A reefer?
a blunt.
A blunt?
It's fun.
A doobie?
It's pass.
A doobie.
Don't
Shatter.
bogart that
Don't
joint.
bogart that joint, my friend. Boy, we're really
Going back.
aging ourselves now, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I
there's
wonder what products are really going to take off here, because some of them are
Well, I can tell you that dried flower is going to be a hit.
dried flower. Yeah,
I mean, that's the
Robin Hood.
well, that's the most organic approach. Smoke a dried flower. That's it.
I know. I'll tell you, that gets you they call that whack, don't they?
One of our viewers, his name is Chris Smith. He's watching right now on Facebook, and he has a question about Marican. Do you know anything about Marican, Ed? Ben Ward's deal? Got operations in Germany now.
Yeah.
Built a big place.
I know the name. The name.
We should get Ben Ward in for another interview. He's a very, very savvy presenter.
Can we put the chart up?
We can do that. I'm going to do that right now. We're going to do that right now. Okay. First,
You know what? A lot of these issuers have moved up in the same way. So a lot of the charts look.
Here's Marican. Are you ready?
Yes.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, well, not a lot of excitement going on in the chart there.
No, but it seems to have it's like the longer it goes this way, like sideways, I think that's a good thing. But again, if it starts to it looks like a big distribution.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah.
Well, but you know that Marican had some issues in terms of the regulators. So
Issues?
issues. They had some issues.
Yeah, like
They involved a couple of directors, nothing to do with the CEO. The directors are no longer part of the company, but I think they're still struggling with credibility if I was to look at this. That's why I want to get Ben back on, because I think we need to get an update on that.
Just looking again here, I see this trend.
Yeah.
See that, how it just sort of, and then it broke down here.
Yeah.
And it, you know, if it can't get through it, so that trend, which was support, now becomes resistance, overhead resistance. Yeah.
So really, despite all the news in the cannabis marketplace today, there was not a great deal of interest. And here's my bet as to why that is.
July 1st, July 4th?
It's the Canada Day, Independence Day weekend.
Yeah.
Everybody,
it's
people in Canada are slow getting back to work if they're coming back at all this week. And people in the US are gearing up to go away if they haven't gone away already.
right.
So there's the result, is that flaccid little thing hanging off the end of the index there. That is essentially representative of an inconclusive trading day. Oh, so we can go back to sleep in our hammocks.
It's a bit of a yawner.
It's a yawner. It's a yawner, but you know what, Ed? It's now 4:30, and it's also a goner. Ed, what did you do for the long weekend, Ed? Did you do anything
I
interesting?
drank a lot of beer, played golf.
Played golf? Did you smoke any?
Reefer?
Yeah. Smoke a fat one?
Just trying to remember. I don't think I did. I
No,
don't
eh?
think I did. Don't think I did. I don't think there was anybody packing,
Nobody's packing. Nobody
But,
was stacking the bud.
stacking.
Nobody
the bud.
was whacking the. Nobody was whacking the doobies out the door.
Boy, I'll tell you, Budweiser should get a little promo going with some kind of bud and bud.
Bud and bud. Oh, now that's illegal in Canada. Bud with bud.
Bud with bud. But it's not illegal with Canada.
Bud squared.
Oh, you can't
No, it's illegal.
advertise?
No, you can't. You can't. Well, you can't sell any product that combines cannabis with alcohol.
Okay.
You cannot sell any cannabis product in the same place that alcohol is sold.
What about Tinley Beverage? Aren't they involved in that?
They're not in Canada.
They're in California.
They're in California and Nevada. Tinley. Yeah, we haven't had them in here in a long time. We should talk to him.
I know that guy.
Jeff.
I've met him. Missouri.
Jeff Mazer.
Mazer.
Mazer. If you want to Europeanize him. Mazer. Signor Mazer, your table is ready.
Okay.
Anyways, Ed, there's our show for
All right,
Monday.
all right.
Are you satisfied?
Now, I'm not going to be here tomorrow.
You're not going to be here tomorrow.
Or probably
what kind of
not.
show is this?
You know where I'm
going
going to be? Maybe we should have a try and. I'm going to be with our friend Steve Dunn,
Yeah.
and we're going to be on Lake Huron.
Oh yeah, you going fishing?
I don't know if we're going to be fishing, but we're certainly going to be in a setting. Well, it's on Lake Huron.
You're going to Steve's cottage. Boy, you know, I just geared up for fishing this weekend, and I didn't get to do any fishing.
Did you get an invite to Steve's cottage?
No, I never have.
Okay.
I think I have a standing invite. I think I've got a.
Oh.
You can show up whenever you want.
Really?
I think so. I'm not sure. I should maybe double check that. Anyway, so that's going to be our
Okay.
show for today. Thank you everybody for watching. Hope you like the new effect where you're actually just tuned into MidasLetter.com and you're watching it live right there on the front page. That's pretty cool. You can still watch on Facebook. You can still watch on YouTube. You can still click the like, the subscribe on the website. Do all of those zany things. Brighten up your day. And we'll be back tomorrow, but without Ed. Actually, we might try to do
We
Ed
may do a little
remote. We'll try a Skype remote with Ed tomorrow. If we don't have Ed, who do we have tomorrow? We have other guests tomorrow. Oh, John Fowler from the Supreme Cannabis Company is here tomorrow.
Okay.
He's one of our favorite guests. We have, who else do we have tomorrow? I don't know. We'll let you know tomorrow. That's it for today. Thanks for joining.